Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mallikarjun. In this today's session, I'm going to demonstrate on step-by-step installation and configuration of my OEM server. That's Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. That's a 13C. That's going to be 13.5. Precisely, the 13.5 is the version. What I'm going to install it on my Linux server. That Linux server is going to be of Oracle Enterprise Linux 7.9. This is going to be 7.9 here. So this is, I'm going to do it from the scratch. I just now built my Linux 7.9. I'm going to start it from the download of all this OEM software, download of my 19C database software, and then where to download, how to download, and then how to start your installation. Everything I'm going to cover it from the scratch in this particular videos. So you can, once you watch this complete video, you're going to be very handful and then hands-on on complete understanding of your Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. That's EM, we can say Enterprise Manager in EM Cloud Control. That's going to be 13C, 13.5. So these steps includes 9 steps altogether. This entire process. One is like overview of your environment, and then followed by your environment analysis and verification of your certificate, download of all your OEM software, download of your 19C database software, and install of your 19C database software, and then create your repository database, and then install your EM Cloud Control, and then open your enterprise cloud control console, and then stop EM and start EM. So all these steps we're going to see it in these videos. And the quick intro about my current setup. So this is going to be Linux 7, that's a 7.9. And then server IP I just not mentioned here. I'm going to get it in a minute. And then OEM version is 13C release 5, 13.5. And then OMS home is like user own app Oracle middleware. This is my OMS home. And then the agent home is going to be user own app Oracle agent. And my DB home is going to be user own app Oracle product 19C DB home. And then my DB name is going to be OEMDB. And the database version is going to be 19.3. That's a default version. And then the OMS binary owner and DB owner are going to be both Oracle, right? So without delay, so let's get started with the complete installation and configuration of this OEM in our lab environment. So before I get started with this particular installation, if you are new to my channel, and then if you're not watched my previous videos, always go back to YouTube and search for Malik034, and then you can watch my previous videos. And if you like those videos, you can do a thumbs up and then comment in this video section, right? So let's get started. Though this is my OEM server. So if I do host name, and then this is going to be brand new OEM server. And if I do cat etc os hyphen release, so that's going to be 7.9 Oracle Linux server with OEL server. That's 7.9. So if I do ID Oracle, I don't have Oracle user here. So I'll quickly go ahead and do yum install Oracle star hyphen skip broken. So that's going to install all the prerequisites RPM along with this Oracle user will be get created. Right, so this will take a few seconds that it install. That will configure my Oracle user groups and all other things. I'll take one more duplicate session meantime. Right, so these are the prerequisites RPM it's going to install here. I'll just say yes, proceed further. It's going to download all these 25 packages. I'll take one more duplicate session. All right, so it's going on here. If I do cat/etc password, I don't have any of that Oracle user. I have only Malik user. I don't have that Oracle user created. Once this prerequisites RPM installed, the Oracle user will be default installed. All the kernel configuration, all those settings will be done here. So if I do cat/etc group, so I don't have any groups here. I have only Malik group. I don't have anything other than this. So let's wait for this prerequisites RPM gonna get installed, and you'll see all the ID Oracle, all the Oracle and all the groups, everything will be get created here. Right, so, and then meantime, I'll connect to my GUI screen. So this is my GUI screen for OEM server. I'll just, okay, let it wait for a minute. Let it get complete, and then we'll see it. Okay, so let's see. Right, not it. Still it's going on here. Okay, meantime, go back to my this document here. I need to download this OEM server. I need to download this Oracle database software. These two software I need to download. I'll go to my GUI screen here. I'll connect to my Firefox, and then I'll go to my Oracle edelivery.com. So that Oracle edelivery site is the one where you can get all the required software for your database or OEM or your middleware or whatever software, you can get it on that Oracle edelivery. You just Oracle edelivery, and then you will get a edelivery site. So I'll just accept this one here, agree, and then Oracle software delivery cloud, that's edelivery.oracle.com. Just log in there and then use your whatever the ID registered with Oracle, just use that one, sign in. If you don't have an account, like go ahead and create your own account. I'll just log in with my account. And then provide the password. Right, so you logged into your delivery cloud now. So now you can download. One is your Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. You just type this one, or you can search. I'll just search it here. Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. Oracle. Okay, sorry for this one. I'll search it once again. Oracle Enterprise. The moment you size the key, the respective whatever the assets, whatever the products will be like listed here. So we need Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. I'll just type like EM. That also works fine. So to be precise, like you can just search Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control or whatever, just a keyword, whatever it is, like you will get it. Right now, 13.5. That's the latest one. What you can see here. Like I'm gonna go ahead and download that one. I'll just add it to cart. So it is added to cart here. And then similarly, next software is my Oracle Database 19c. I'm just gonna search it. Oracle Database 19c, and you can see this one. And then 19.3 is the default one. 19.3 is the default one. So I'll just add it to cart. So two products are added to cart. I'll just continue with that. And then the platform, I'm going to select x86-64, x86-64, Linux x86-64. Everything will be selected with the same platform here, x86-64. And then I'll proceed further. So this is our EM, and then this is your database. Database also, I'm going to select Linux x86-64. These are the two platform we're going to select here. And then once you select, go ahead and click on next. So I'll just click on continue. And then there's a terms and condition agreement. Go ahead and accept this terms and condition and then continue. Okay, so there are so many OEMs. You can see so many sub folders here. OMS like 1, 79 and 80, 81, 82, 83. So there are so many OEM patch files here. And then same thing, and then enterprise manager based platform. There are so many platform here. You can see I'll just scroll it down. And then apart from that, you will see your database software. And then I'm just going to ignore my there are a lot of software here. Let's see, I'll just don't get confused here, because we selected both OEM and then the database software. So you will see most of the things like in different. This is your database version, whatever you selected. If you don't want, you can just delete this one. If you just delete, your database software will be gone, and then you left with only Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. So this Enterprise Manager Cloud Control, the base platform, that is 13.5. You have 5 softwares here, and the Enterprise Manager base platform, OMS, extraction instruction by platform. So you can see again those 5 files here. And then go down, you can see the database software is built in along with that OMS. This is your 19c database software. And then client, you don't need it. And I'll just ignore that client and then go down. your WebLogic server. You can see your WebLogic server here, 1, 2, 3, 4 jars. So I'm not going to download all of them. What I'm going to do, I'll just download my database software. This is my database software here, database Oracle database 19.3. I'll just download only this database software here. Okay, I'll just save this one, and then I'll go back. Uh, and then you can hear two options, like you can enterprise manager based platform OMS 13.5 for Linux x86 64, and then extraction instruction by platform. So either you can download this one. I'll just go ahead and download all of these. You can see CD 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 6, 5 of 5. So we need to download all these 5 in order to make your entire OEM installation. So I'll just go ahead and download all these 5 files. You can see 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5, and then remaining by platform wise. So I don't want to go ahead with this one. If you go here, there's a platform wise, like your Linux, IBM, Microsoft, Oracle Solaris. So you can go ahead with the platform wise. So I'm not going to go ahead with this one. I'll go ahead and download all these 5 zip files. So I'll just select one and save, and then the second one, save, third one, save this one, fourth one, save this one, fifth one, save this one. Right, so all 5 files are getting downloaded here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 files, they're getting downloaded, and then the database software, it's already downloaded, I believe. Right, so let it get download. Just make it 83, 82, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79. Okay, these are like your OMS software, and then the database software is already got downloaded. So let it get download. Everything will get downloaded into your download directory. Go inside desktop, downloads. Okay, LL, downloads. See your database software, and then rest of the things. These are like your OEM software. So let it get download. We'll go back to our mobile extreme. Okay, your Linux, that's Oracle star, the prerequisites RPM got installed. And then I'll go to other screen. If I do ID Oracle now, and then I see Oracle user got created here. And if I do cat etc group, and all the groups will also get created. TrackDB, KMDB, DGDB, Hopper, all of these are like got created. So your um, uh, everything is done here now. I'll go back now. These softwares are getting downloaded. What I'll do now, I can quickly create some of the directories. Whatever the directories I mentioned here, these are the directories. I'm just going to go ahead and create it. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to do one second. I'll just take one more notepad. I'm just going to take this one here, Note++. Okay, these are my instead of 12.2, I'm just going to make it 19. I'm not going to do grid. I'll just take this one, whatever this DB home. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it here. This is my agent, and this is my DB home, and this is my middleware. I'll just put mkdir in front of them. Right, so I'll just remove this one. Right, so these are your directories you're going to create. I'm just going to go ahead and create it as a root user. Done. And then go ahead and change the ownership. Done. Right now, what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and create user one, LL. I'm going to create one more directory called mkdir patches, and then I'll change the permission for that. ch1 Oracle user one. Okay, now I do LL. Okay, now everything is done here. So let's wait for that patches to download, and then we'll start with our installation. If I go back and see where that download progress, go back here. Right, so all download completed here, and then go back to your downloads here, cd downloads. Then these are your downloaded files. I'll just move everything star into u01 patches. And then I'll change the ownership now. Right, so go inside u01. You moved everything inside patches, go inside patches. And then you can see this is your database and rest other things are your OEM software. Now what I'll do, I'm just going to unzip this one. I'll directly unzip with the Oracle user. I'll go inside u01 patches, and then I'm going to unzip this one. This is my database software. Unzip this database software. I'll directly unzip into my DB home. So my DB home is this one. As I created this directory, this is my DB home. I'm just going to place -d. Okay. So this is my like unzip. This is your database software -d, and then you're directly unzipping into your database home. So that's going to be your database home, and then from there you're going to run the run installer. That will become your database home, and then from there you're going to run the DBCA and then create your OEMDB. This is your OEMDB. And then after that, we'll start with our OEM installation. So right now we verified environment certificate. I'm not going to do it because your OEM 19.5 is certified with your 19C. So I'm not going to do that one. Download is done, and install of Oracle 19C. That's where I'm going to do it now. So I'm just doing unzip now. Once the unzip is done, I'm going to create the Oracle home. Once the Oracle home is done, I'm going to create the database. When the database creation is done, I'm going to go ahead and install this EM Cloud repository. Right. So yeah, it's going on. In the meantime, I'll go here. I'll just go ahead and log in with the Oracle user. I'll just do switch user. And then I need to change the password for my Oracle user. I'll just exit because the Oracle user got created with that prerequisites RPM, whatever Oracle star -FN script, install Oracle star -FN script broken, whatever we ran it, that installed my Oracle user. So I don't know the password for that. I'll just do passwd Oracle. So I'm just going to change the password for my Oracle user. Done. So Oracle user password got changed. Now you can go ahead and then enter with that password. Right. So first time you log into server, it will ask you that welcome screen. So you have to click next, and click OK. This is a welcome screen. Just click next, and then click OK. So that's the first time whenever you log in with that, this is the common screen, you will see it. Right now, I'll just open my terminal and then go to my Oracle home. That's u01 app, Oracle product, product 19C DB home, and then run installer is the one. That's a software to install your Oracle home. Just run that run installer, and then that will launch your GUI screen, and then you can install this 19C software. This is a GUI screen, and then you can do setup software only. Then go next. And then this is for single install database installation, not the rack. So select the first option. And then enterprise edition or the standard edition, choose whatever you have it. And then this is your base and this is your Oracle home. And then install default group I'll go with, and this is your inventory. And then default I'll select install for everything. So it again depends upon your design. So if you want to go with the different groups for all of this, you can go with that. Otherwise you can default select as a install. Go ahead and next. Then automatic script. No, I'm not going to do that automatic execution of root script. And then this is the pre-checks. So your setup software only, your base, your home, and your groups, and the manual root script execution, and your inventory, and then group is install. Save this response file if needed, and then install. So this will take very few minutes. And then once this is done, we can go ahead and create our database. And when the database creation is in progress, we'll go ahead and then unzip those whatever the other software, whatever this OMS software, we'll unzip them. So this is your again, as I always suggest, whenever you're doing any installation configuration and whatever you're doing it, one of the best practices is to go ahead and tail your log file. So temp install, that's a log file. You can go ahead and tail that one anytime. So if I go here, if I go temp install cd install, and then this is your installation screen, installation log file. So you can tail this installation log file, tail-f. Then you can see this log file here. Okay, now we got it asking you to run this root execution. I'm just go ahead and run this execution. I'll just take one more session here itself. New tab as a root user, su, because this script, whatever it is asking, you have to run as a root user. I'm just going to take the new session here. Okay, now I'm at a root user ID. Now I'm at a root user. I'm just going to take this one first script. I'm just going to run this one. Done. So your first script is done, and then the second script. Paste. Oh no. Copy. Paste. Yeah, just enter. This is your root script. That's other root.sh script. So once the root execution script is done, so go ahead and click OK, and then your installation Oracle home installation is done. So once your Oracle home installation is done, go back to that other screen here, and then now go inside bin, and inside that bin you have something called dbca. So you can see this is dbca, and then you are inside into bin. This is your Oracle home, and then bin. Oracle home inside bin, you have dbca. Run that one, dbca, and then that will bring you that again GUI screen for Oracle database installation. Choose this create database, and then the typical mode, you can give the database name. I'll go back again here. My database name is going to be OEMDB. So I'm just going to change it to OEMDB, and then the file system, the password. I'm not going to go to the container database. I'll just select password, sys password, and system password for my OEMDB. And then if you select typical, you don't need to select anything. If you select advanced, you need to select a lot of things. I'll just go with the typical one, then proceed further. Right, so save response file if needed, and then finish it. Right, and then once your OEM, once your database installation completed, you need to make sure that database should be in archive log mode, and then I will do it once the database is ready. Once that is done, then you can go ahead and proceed with your other OEM installation. So now what I'll do, this is one way, like you can go ahead and do your DBC, and then create your Oracle home, and then create your database, and then create your listeners, and you can do all of them. And then now you can go ahead and do that other like software, whatever you downloaded, you can go ahead and then unzip that one. And once you unzip that one, and then that will lead you for further extraction, right? Right, now what I'll do, I'll directly go ahead and then unzip all of them software. Like I'll go back here, I'll just cancel this one, go U01 patches. I'll typically go ahead and do unzip with the Oracle user. Go once again U01 patches. And then these are the patches, 5 patches you can see. I'll just download, unzip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these 5 patches I'm going to unzip here. Just do unzip, then the first patch. It'll be like just one file, the bin file will get created. And then again, you unzip this one, again, one more file will get created. Okay, so let it go on. Okay, done. And then second one, unzip. So this is going to be like em, and then this is going to be em.bin, and then this is going to be em.zip. And then all these four are going to be like zip file. And then the first one, whatever you unzip, that's going to be ending with .bin. And then the third one, unzip. And then the fourth one is going to be this one. Right. 1, 2, 3, 81 is done. Now 82. Once that is done, you can go and do an unzip of 82. And then once the 82 is done, last one is like your 83. So once your unzip is done, you can verify. You have something called em13.5. Okay, now that is done. 82 is done. Now it's 83. Unzip and then do this 83. Okay, so and then meantime you can verify your database installation steps. Okay, still going on. Okay, let it go on. You have like 79 unzipped, 80 unzipped, 81 unzipped, 82 unzipped, 83 unzipped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these 5 are unzipped. Now you can go ahead and verify. You got your, or you can do LL. You got this. This is the only bin, and rest of the things are 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 files what you unzipped from these 5 zip files. But only the first one you got it as a dot bin, and then remaining things are just zip files. Right, so you got your all the unzipped files here, and then we are good to start with our OEM cloud control installation. But before that, our database should be completed. I'll just wait for the database installation to complete here. Again, you can tail that database log file or database installation file, whatever it is. Let's yeah, just you can tail this one, or you can go ahead and do this tail this OEM log. Anything you can do it. But anyway, it's completed 40%. Like the database instruction log will be in your CFG tools. That will be like here. If I go cd u01 app oracle CFG tool logs, DBCA, and then you can see your OEMDB, and then you can see any of these logs. You can take this one. This is the trace file for your installation, and you can see it is data patch is in progress. And then you have other screen. You can go ahead and into database alert log. That's going to be like your user on app oracle diag rdbms OEMDB trace. I'll just go into that u01 app oracle diag rdbms OEMDB trace. This is your oracle alert log tail -f alert log. Then this is your database alert log. The data patch is going on right now. That's, I think that's post steps. After that, it will run some utilRP script and all, and then it will start my database. Right, so yeah, we'll give few more minutes here. Okay, 66% completed. Click on this detailed screen here. We'll see the completing database creation. The database creation is done and database instance started. Now it's doing some post execution. If you go here and you can see that post execution, it is running this utilRP script, and it created your SP file, and all of them. From the init file, it created SP file, and then SP file creation done, and before utilRP, then it will be like final post verification steps. Right, 60% done here. And then just now the simple steps. Now you are gonna run this whatever you unzipped here. You're gonna run that one. Whatever that OEM software, whatever you unzipped, that ending with .bin, you're gonna /run that software. It'll ask you the GUI screen, and then follow the instruction. Your OEM setup is done. That's as simple as that. Right, you are shutting down your database. That's the final shutdown, and then it'll do a final startup. 66% done. Okay, database shutdown done. Alter database dismount. Shutting down your archive process. Right, instance shutdown completed. Now it will start with that SP file. Right, your instance is started now here. And then this is your SP file, it has read. And then now database is mounted. And now it is opening the database. Yeah, your alter database open. Your database is opened. Right, so that's it. The installation is done now. You can see the installation is done now. Just close it and make sure that you got your password file like u01 do cat etc var tab. And then this is your OEMDB do .oraenv OEMDB, sqlplus/s sysdba. Right, so done. And then go inside your Oracle home, DBS location, and then make sure that you have your password file, you have your SP file, everything is ready here now. And then check your TNS. So TNS is not configured, you have to configure your TNS here. And then check your database, whether it's an archive log mode or not. Connect back to your database. Archive log list is a command to check it out. Okay, your database is in no archive log mode. Just do shutdown, shut immediate or shut down abort. And just do shut down immediate, shut down normal, shut down transactional, shut down abort, whatever it is. I'll just preferred method is to go with always set immediate. So set your database down, and then you have to start your database in mount mode and then do alter database archive log. So that will bring your database into archive log mode. And once your database in archive log mode, and then go ahead and then go ahead and start your database in open mode. So now database is shut down. Now you do startup mount, because only in the mount mode you can convert your database from archive log to no archive log mode or no archive log mode to archive log mode. Instance is started here, and then database is mounted. Do alter database archive log. Right, your database is archive logged, and then do archive log list, and you see your database is in archive log mode. And now do alter database open. Sorry, alter database open. Your database will be in open mode, right? So database is open now. You have to configure your TNS. So easiest way is I'll just go to my GUI screen here, and then there's something called LL. You can do netmgr. You can see this netmgr or netka, netka or netmgr. Anything you can run it here. I'll just write netmgr. Okay, not here. Go back here. Okay, I'll just set the .oraenv OEMDB, and then run the netmgr. Okay, you got your netmgr location. You don't have TNS, you don't have listener. I'll just first click on listener, add listener, and then listener name is going to be listener underscore OEMDB, and then add, and then you got your listener here, add address. So that will be like OEM server localdomain.com, and 1521 is the port. And click on the service name here, add service name, and then give OEMDB as a service name, and then TCP IP protocol, and then host name OEM server dot localdomain.com. OEM servers localdomain.com, and then 1521 is the port. Next, and then service name, that's going to be default OEMDB, or if you want you can connect to database and check your service name and then finish it. And then one thing is go ahead here, files, and save this network configuration. That's important. Once that is done, go ahead and exit this one. And then now go back here. Now run the ps-af grep TNS, and then go inside your TNS location, network admin. So this is your network admin location. That will be like your Oracle home network admin, and do check your listener files here. You see your listener file ready, and then to check your TNS file here, and your TNS files is ready here. And then you can start your listener lsnrctl start, and then your listener. And then you can check your status, and your database will be registered with this listener. Right, and then do your TNS ping of your OEMDB, TNS ping OEMDB, and then it is getting response. Okay, right. So this all looks good now here. And then I need to disable my firewall on this particular server. That will be like systemctl firewall d status, or the status firewall d, systemctl status firewall d. It is running. I'll just stop it. Stop your firewall. Stop your firewall. Now check the status. It will be stopped, and then I'll disable it. Disable firewall. Okay, done. So Now you can verify password file and then the TNS connectivity. I'll just do status listener. Okay, I'll just set the environment OEMDB. Check 1 second status. So your database OEMDB is registered here. Do sqlplus sys / whatever the password you given for that sys user at that OEMDB as sysdba. So you're able to connect your database with the listener and with the TNS details and with the password file. So everything works fine here. And then now you can go ahead and check it out. There are some prerequisites before you proceed with your OEM installation. There are few requisites you need to check it out. One is make sure that your database is in open read only read write mode, sqlplus / sysdba. I'm just going to get that command. One is verify your database open mode, open name and open mode will be read write mode. And then there's a one more command, bunch of command. I'm gonna show it here. You need to set those as a prerequisites before you proceed with the installation. This is second one, and then this is your shared pool, and then this is your processes. Okay, and then you can verify after that. So what I'll do now, I'm just going to run this one, and then alter session set session catch the SP file. I'm going to change this open session catch cursor 200 to my SP file. Right now, if you do show parameter, this will be like default 50, and then you are setting it to 200, and then same thing, it goes to your shared pool. I'm setting it to 600 M, or you can go more than that. And the processor default set to 300, and you can set it to more. Right now, right. So I can go ahead and run all of this in one shot, or you can run it one at a time. Nothing will happen here, right? So everything is done. So you can go ahead and bounce your database. So once you do all these changes, you have to do bounce your database, because you did the changes in SP file. In order to take it to effect, you have to bounce your database. I'll do shutdown and startup. And once that is done, that's it. So you can go ahead and run your OEM installation. That's it. And then I'll let it shut down, and I'll start it. That's simple, just to start up once the instance is shut down. Okay, I'll just do startup. And then now once the database started, we are all set now. We're all set for installation of my OEM. Okay, database is open. I'll just exit this one. I'll go to my GUI screen. This is my GUI screen. Go into U01 patches, and then you got your, that is the main file, em13.5 linux64.bin. You have to do / and then this particular file, em13.bin. That's it, and run it. So that's going to launch a GUI screen again, and then you can follow the instruction, and then that will start your installation. Right. So launching your installation here. This is the log file. You can see it here. Temp Oracle install. So I'll just go inside exit cd temp. That will like O capital temp Oracle install 20 PM. Okay, and then do ls-ltr, and this is your log file tail-f, and you can check this log file. It's doing a lot of checks here. You can see all the checks are succeeding here, but you don't know in the GUI, you don't know, like just giving you this information, but at the back end, it will doing a lot of checks here. When the checks are all done, you're going to get this particular GUI installation skill. So you want to go with a simple install, advanced install, and install software only. Like these are the different option. You can go ahead and do it, but right now I'll go with a simple install. Either you can go with advanced install, so it's fine, but I'll go with the install software only with plugins. So either of one option you can choose, but I'll just right now I'll go with a simple install, and then I'll just go ahead and skip this software update. And then it's going to do checks. These are all the checks you can see. Some of them are warning and most of them are successful. Like warning, you can see first one here. These are the required package, built-in package. It is giving warning, and then some of them are failed here. Okay, now check for this one. These are like kernel required parameters. So these are the recommended setting what it is asking. Go ahead and check all of these settings, whatever this is recommending. You can set them, but right now I'll just ignore them. It's not gonna impact much on that because I already verified it in my previous installation. So I'll just ignore these two. I'll just go ahead and proceed. You can see the host physical memory. The result expected is around 12 GB, but right now it has only 10 GB. So these are like we can ignore some of the checks. I'll just go ahead and ignore all of them. We'll proceed further. So some of the recommendation prerequisite field, you might encounter error during the installation. Do you want to proceed? Yes, I want to proceed. So I can just ignore them. So this is very important. Make sure that you can provide this proper details. So this is your middle. I'll go back here. Okay, this is your middle OMS home, and this is your agent home, and then your Oracle bundle. So I'll just go back here, and then the middleware like user one, or you can do this browse also, or I can directly type it. I'll just go here slash user1, that will be like user1 app Oracle, and then your middleware. That's it. Open it. So this is your middleware home, and then your agent one. I can type it user1 app Oracle, and then it will be just agent or agent underscore. It will be just agent. Just type that one. Uh, slash agent. This is the home. Okay, there's a double slash here. User an app Oracle agent, or that's agent based directory. That will like your agent home. That's agent based directory. And then this is a middle or home location. That's a user and app Oracle. And then once you pass that one, and then go ahead and click next. And then this is very important, the passwords. You have to remember all of these passwords. Create administrator password. Administrator password, I'm just going to give same password for everything since this is my lab environment. I'm not worrying. So you can, if you want, like you can give different password for different account. And then the database details. So database host name, that is your OEM server dot localdomain.com. That's your database host name, and then the port is 1521, and then SID is your OEMDB, and then your sys password. I'll just give my sys password, whatever I have given for my database. Go next. Could not connect to database using a host name or the port specified. Ensure that host name and listeners are up and running. So now what I'll do, I'll go ahead and okay, the server spelling is mistake here. That should be like, you should be very careful while passing the parameter. This will be like OEM server E is missing here. I'll just make it E. Next. Okay, execution database related prerequisite checks. It's all done now. Right, so it says check CDBO gather stat job failed, fixable, and then check parallel max server. Okay, this all failed and these are like fixable. You can check your autofix, fix on autofix, and then yeah, succeeded. Most of them are succeeded here. Right, so it's all done. Now proceed further. Once you made it autofix, and then once you given all of them, and then go next. So Oracle strongly recommend use AL32 ETF character for EM repository. Oracle Home is standard any code, which enables universal support for your virtually all language in the world. I'll just click OK. And then software library. Configure your Oracle software library. If you are planning to have multi-OMS setup, then enter the said location that is accessible from all your OEMS instance. Otherwise, like user and app Oracle software library. That's the default path. I'll just go with that because like everything I'm gonna keep inside user and app Oracle. So if I go back here, just cancel this one, cd u01 app Oracle, and then you can see here you have your where that middleware, you have your agent, and then now I'm gonna give this software library and the same location. Right, so this is your overall summary. Available disk space required is 37. You have 39 available, but just to make sure that you can go ahead and use your one patches, you can go ahead and remove that one. Whatever the old software. Right now it says available is 39 and then required is 37. It's a neck to neck. So you can go ahead and remove this all these patches. RM, I'm going to remove this database patch, and then I can go ahead and remove this because you already unzipped here. These patches are not needed anymore. RM, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are like not needed. S, 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 done. So now you got enough space here, and then this is fine. And then your middleware location, middleware installation location, your agent home location, and then your database information connection string, and your web logic service name, node logic name, and then the ports, and then most of them are like default. I'll go ahead and install it. Right, so this is your log. You can click on this log, and then you can see this log coming here. Then meantime, you can go ahead and do your check your installation. So this is your directory, and this is the log. It's default coming here. Browse this one here, little right side. Copying files and configuring and running the root script. This is very important. Root script execution. If you successfully run that one, and then that's it. So you can access your OEM. This will take few minutes, and then we are done with the installation. And then make sure that whatever the password you give, remember those password. If you forget that, then in case like you have to do that installation again from the scratch. Installation still it is doing a lot of checks. And then just to give you a quick meantime is getting installed. What we did right now, we installed our OEM server here. This is my OEM server, and then we installed our OEMDB here inside that. And then you can configure your any database server. You can configure your any application server, like this database server, this is your database server, and this is your application server, and this is your again application server. This OEM server is giving you some agent binaries. You just install this agent binaries on all of this server. I can say this is your DB server, and this is your app server, and this is your EBS server, and this is your OBI server, whatever kind of server. Just install that agent binaries. Once you install that agent binaries, your OEM server is going to discover all of these servers here. And then all the metrics, whatever this agent you install here, this agent will collect all the metrics of your DB, your app, and your EBS and OBI. All the metrics it will collect, and it will send it to your OEMDB, and your OEMDB will store all the information. And then this OEM server, it will be getting one URL, HTTPS, and then slash, and then your OEMDB server, something like this, server.com, and then you can connect your that HTTP browser, and then you can monitor all of this database, and you can do whatever alert mechanism in from this OEM server. That's a simple explanation of how OEM server works. You can configure any server, any database, any application server inside your EM, and then you can monitor it. Right, okay, so Installation is going on. 20%. Right, still going on here, 20%. And you can see all this in the log as well. Decline license agreement, and then doing this agent plugin installation. Then you can see it in the backend also. This whatever the OEM installation screen, you will see the summary, how much percentage completed on each phase. Now installation phase, like installation in progress, and then installation successful, and now each of that, whatever the phase it is running, it will make sure that it's 100% completed, and then it's giving you summary of that each of that phase. This is your log. Nothing much, you can see it in the log. Right, 21%. Okay, altogether now it came all of around 40%. That's a good thing. So far, so good. Everything's going fine. Verifying enrollment and performing the prerequisite checks. Which will take quite a lot of time, because this OEM server is the complex setup, right? Like it has to install your agent, it has to install your middleware, and it has to get the agent installation done on the same server, and then configure your UI. So that will take a lot of time, to integrate everything. And then it has to verify all the database patch related information, and agent can communicate to your database server, that OEM server. And then at the end of that installation, you're going to get the welcome screen, and then in that welcome screen you're going to see your URL, whatever that URL I talked about here, this URL, and then which port it is listing. Default it's a 7102, that's the port, and that's a admin server port where your VM is listening, and then it's going to give you console access. So until that, if you don't have that, any of the port is not opened, and if your server, like the firewall is enabled, so you cannot able, the installation might go fine, or installation, sometimes installation also might fail because it's saying that port is not open. And then finally it will open, finally, like once you open all the ports, and then you will be able to access that console with the admin password, and whatever the URL, whatever you have given. It will take a few minutes. Let it go on. 40% completed so far. That's a good indication. And then most of the time, like, I'll explain that once the installation done. Most of the time, once the login screen comes, the people will get confused, like what username I can use, what password I can use. The password anyway you given it at the time of installation, and then the username default we're going to use sysman. Sysman is a default user account. We're going to use it in order to log into our OEM server, OEM console. And then we are going to see some of the uh, status. I'm just going to show you that how to stop. I'm not going to stop it, but one of the handy command, you have to export your one more new home. It's going to come now. That's going to be your OMS home. That's going to be user and app Oracle middleware. And then you're going to do this OMS stop all in order to stop your OMS. Stop OMS. So you're going to use this one. Go back here. Okay, 50% done. The files copy is done. Now we're doing the configuration of this. You can see now it's going on so much of configuration steps here. You can see we're seeing a lot of things here. And then it's doing a repository configuration. And then this is your OMS, stop OMS. And then you have something called stop agent. You can do stop agent using, you have to again do the same thing. Okay, I'll just do this one. You have to export your OMS home first and then stop your OMS. And then similarly, in order to do stop agent, you have to export your stop agent home and then you have to stop your agent here. This thing, let's see, monitor this one. Okay, repository configuration. It's a 48% done. Let it go on. We'll see this one. And then we're not gonna we'll just database anyway, like how to start. I'm not gonna connect that one. Database stop is just like I'll just include that also. Top database, how you're gonna do it. You're gonna do .oraenv. You're gonna run the .oraenv, and then you're setting it to OEMDB. And then once you set it to OEMDB, and then you're gonna run this sqlplus sysdba, and then you're gonna do shut immediate. So this is your stop database, and the start stop listener. That's next thing. Stop listener. I'm just going to do it here. Stop database, and then the stop listener. Stop listner listener. We know our listener, so we'll just do lsnrctl status listn listener underscore OEMDB, and then similarly we will do the stop. Instead of status, we will do the stop. So these are like all your stop command, and similarly the opposite direction is to start your database. And then the same thing, shut immediate, it will shut down your database. Same thing, you set it, and then instead of shut immediate, you can do startup. That will start your database. And then instead of stop, you can do start. It will start your listener. And then that is your database and your listener startup. And then whatever this stop agent, what you did here, and then instead of stop, you can do start agent. And just make it here one more. Look, wait a second. So I'll just make it instead of stop, I'll just make it start agent. And then in order to stop your OMS, you do the stop all, and then you just exclude this all, and then you can just copy only this much, then paste it here, and then you can do start OMS. Right, that's it. So this is your stop and start OMS, stop OMS all, start OMS. So this is stop and stop of your OMS. And then before that, you have to export this your OMS home. And then this stop agent, start agent. Before that, you have to export your agent home. And then you can do shut immediate database and startup. That will be like your database shutdown and startup. And then your listener, stop listener and start listener. lsnrctl stop listener, start listener. That's your listener, startup and stop. So this is all your management at your OEM side. Right. So, and then there's a one more command to check the status at your database level. We know our database status. So we will run this particular command, select name, open mode. This is to check your database. Select open mode from your database, and then this is to check your listener status, right? This is to check your listener status. This is to check your database status. And similarly, you can check the agent status. And similarly, you can check your OEM status, like what you can see at OEM, the same command, emctl, emctl instead of start, you can do status OMS. So this will short description it will give. And if you want more description, you can go with like this, something like this, hyphen detail, something called hyphen details. So same thing, like, stop, start, status, and status with details. And similarly, agent also is going to be like same thing. If you have like any questions around this one, you can feel free to comment here in this video section. Definitely, I can come back to you with the solution. Right. So these are like typical administration at your OEM server. Stop OMS, stop agent, stop start status, stop start status of your OMS server, agent server, database, and listeners. At 49%, yeah, creating your EM repository. It will take a few more minutes. And then typically your the login console will be like something like this. HTTPS and your host name, and then the console, and then the console port, that's default 7102, and then EM. So that's going to be like login URL, and then the user name is going to be your sysman, and then the password, whatever the password you have given it at the time of installation. This is a default login screen for that. It's still going on. %. And then, as I said, like go back here, and then once your OEM setup is done, you can configure your any database, any application server, and then you can monitor through your the web console. And then that's a single point of server where you can monitor your database health check, and you can configure any kind of alert, like how much file system, like if the root file system, or at your application server, if the any particular mount point, OS mount point, is reaching threshold 80%, 90%, trigger an alert. And to monitor your database, if your database table space is like full and 80% or 90%, trigger an alert. And then you can monitor your database alert log, and then you can trigger a database backup from OEM server. You can do any major activities from your OEM. You don't need to log into any of your database server or application server. Just log into single point of your OEM server. That's a web console with the GUI screen, with the GUI field. You can do any admin activities, most of the admin activities. And you can let me click on this particular log here. This is a log for that one, whatever you're seeing here. Just you can close this one and then click this particular log now. And then this is your whatever that repository configuration. And if there are any error message, you can easily figure it out here, and then that will indicate sysman, enter sysman password. These are like your information here. You can just go back here, ps-af grep agent. So your agent, you can see this is, I'll just make it small screen agent. can see your that whatever that OMS agent installation is going on, like all of this process, you can see it here, like that installation is going on. These are like what I can say. These are very important steps, like your MDS schema configuration and your OMS configuration. If there's any issue in this one, this will be like very nightmare to fix them. So make sure that these two steps can go smooth, the MDS schema creation and then OMS configuration. Once this is goes fine, and rest of the things are like your agent configuration and then the root script, so that can be easily fixed. But your MDS schema configuration, then OMS configuration, those are like very important step, and then along with this repository configuration, these are the three steps where your actual base tables and all those things will get created here. And you can see, right, like you don't know whether it is progressing or not. It's stuck at 49 and stuck at 50, but when you're looking at your log file is progressing. So the log file is progressing, that indicates uh, your installation is going fine. So if you don't tail the logs and you don't know, in fact you don't know what you're doing, or you will not be knowing that whether it is progressing or whether it is stuck or whether it is failed, or you don't know. Like by looking at the tail, by tailing your log file, you can see, okay, it's still running and it's going on, and then it's happening, really it is in progress. That's what you can make figure it out. Otherwise, like without tailing your log file, you cannot see that progress, you cannot know what's happening. That's as I always recommend to everyone, whenever you do any configuration, installation, setup, make sure that you tail a log. You can open a multiple windows, you can open a multiple sessions, and then keep your tail, then keep your session alive, so that you can at least that will give you some relaxation. You'll see, you'll know that okay, your database or whatever the setup you're doing, it is in progress. It is not stuck, or it is not failed, or it is not hung. It is in progress. That's an indication of your that's the beauty of your log file. And in fact, if it fails also, the log files will give more information, why it failed, what might be the reason, and what is the fix. Most of the things will get it in the log file. And once the installation fail in this GUI screen or in this installation screen, you don't see why it failed, what's the reason, what's the fix, you don't know. But when you tail your log, and then log file definitely will give why it failed, and then that will give you a right direction, what's the fix for that. And it clearly says your in this particular GUI screen, it may say that installation failed, unable to create this table or repository or the schemas. The moment you go on the log, and you'll see the exact command what is going to do. It's trying to create a table, and you're unable to create at the DB level. Might be your space issue or might be your privilege issue, and immediately you can take action on that. So that's a good beauty of tailing your log file. All right, so let's wait for a few more minutes and see the progress. Still at the repository configuration. Okay, now 51%. Yeah, it will take more time. This all timing depends upon how much CPU, how much RAM, how much memory you have it. If you assign more memory, more CPU on your server, the installation will go fast. And if you have very limited RAM and limited CPU and storage, then the installation will take a little longer than the expected. Okay, still is in progress. As of now, 52% completed. Okay, it is 53% completed. Seems it is a slow progress because of RAM and whatever the CPU I have it in my lab. Okay, let it take its own sweet time. We'll wait it. Probably we will just pause it and then we'll come back after 10-20 minutes and we'll see what's the progress. Okay, I'll just put it pause here. Okay, great. The repository creation completed successfully, and then after that, MDS schema creation also completed. Now OMS configuration is in progress, so I'll just close this one, and then I'll open this OMS configuration log file. So yeah, this is doing the infrastructure setup now, and then at the same time, if you see this log file, okay, this is timed out. I'll reconnect again. Okay. Let it go on. You can tail the same log file. Go inside that. So this log file will not give much information because right now the installation has its own log file which is reporting here. So that log file will give more information. Now, like creating data source for the first time, deployed EM. So the EM deployment is successful, and then creating a data source for the first. Once that is done, we'll start with the a plugin deployment and start your management service. So if I check here, if I tail this log here, these are the description you can see here. The connect description, that's my OMS database, repository database. And then you can see that owner sysman, that's a login name. And then that repository completed successfully. And then you can go through all of these previous logs and which will give you more information or more insight on what all it has done so far. And then make sure that sysman is the login user. When you try to connect via console, you have to use your sysman. You can see creating metadata MDS, and then everything is completed successfully. Right. So these all are the test it has done. So we left here creating EM repository, and then it went with this one. TNA test connected successfully, and then your middleware home, and then these are like test it has completed, and then the EM repository completed successfully, and then after that your MDS schema started. Go down, and then you can see this one. Your MDS schema successfully completed here, and then after that it started with this OMS configuration, and then right now creating common infrastructure STB. So that's operation completed here. OMS configuration. That's where we are right now. Securing OMS, EM key is secured, and then created successfully EMGC user, EMGC group, and then after that few more steps to go. And right now it is doing performing post deploy operation. Deploy and repo setup operation completed successfully. Then now it's doing post deploy operations. Total 0 errors, 16 warnings, and 86 end titles imported. You can just read through all of these messages, which will give you more insights. Right. If you see, right, EM configuration completed successfully, and then you can see that EM URL, https://OEMS server, and then that port that now it's doing a plugin configuration. If I little scroll it up, yeah, you can see that OMS server.localdomain.com 7803./em. It took a 7803 port. Instead of simple install, what we selected earlier screen, you could have selected that advanced installation, and then you could have controlled all the port, which port you can define all of them port. Like right now it is assigned whatever the default port, whatever it is configured. OMS state could be found, it is down, perform middle tier config. And then right now you can just export them and then try it here in this connection here. If I log into Oracle, and then I can export this one. Once export is done, I can see status OMS. Right, so it says I did a start here. Then meanwhile time you can check the status here. it says web tier is down, Oracle server is down. Anyway, like your installation will take care. I should not have started it because everything has to be gone through this particular VM. Whatever that installation, everything has to start and stop it from until this installation completed. You should not start, stop, or whatever. Like I just did here start OMS. I should not do that, and immediately I canceled it because it has some internal mechanism when to start, when to do all of this thing, all that should be controlled by its own, right? And then yeah, this the OMS status details. You can check details. And then it'll asking for the password for your sysman. Right, it cannot be reached because still the installation is going on. You can see this the control server and the port, HTTPS port, and then your console URL, and then upload URL, and then the other ports, whatever it is, console port, HTTPS console port, HTTP upload port, and HTTPS upload port, and then most of the information you can see it here with this hyphen details. Anyway, we'll see it. Right now it says web server is down here. If you see this web tier is down, and then this is your plugin deployment, and these are successful and these are running, and then your management is server is unknown. Yeah, it is still is doing its job. Let it go on. We'll see it at the end of that all the post checks. Yeah, 77% is still invoking pre-deployment callback. OEM state could be found and it's down, and middle tier config post metadata registration still going on here. And meantime, you can just try to access whatever this URL it is giving you, right? Console URL. Just copy that one and then go to URL, open the tab. Right, it's down now. So we cannot reach it. So let's give it a few more minutes. When this installation is done, right now it is 78% done. Then we'll see it. And then sometimes what happens, like when you're trying to connect with the host name, it will not be able to connect, and you might need to use your whatever the IP address you are using it for that host. Instead of host name, you can use IP address. So I'm just going to replace with the IP address, and then with the IP address also it's going to be same status, unable to reach. Let's wait for a few more minutes to installation to complete. Or like you can go to your server GUI screen and go here, and then you can use the same thing. Whatever you are trying to access it outside, you can try use it from OEM server inside that. Go back here. You can do https://OEM server.localdomain.com, and then you can use that whatever the port, and then the console, that is 7803/em colon 7803/em. Sorry, it should be em. Still it is not up. We'll wait for a few more minutes and see. Let's start your OMS console service. It's doing plugin installation is done, and it's starting that OMS console now. You can see starting your management server. So this is what the important thing. The moment it starts, and then you can able to see it. Now you can query the status again. OMS details, and then enter the password for your sysman account. 81%. Start Oracle Management Service, still going on. Okay, WLS domain information, GC domain, your admin server host, and then the port 7102. And you can see console port and then 7102. Agent upload is locked, OMS console is locked, active CAID. These are the console. It says web tier is down, Oracle Java management server is down, and admin server is running, and rest others are down. So you can now try connecting one more time. Let's start OMS management service, still is in progress. Starting OMS management service, still is in progress. Anyway, we can wait for a few more minutes and see. Admin server is running. The host web tier is down, Oracle management server is down, and then JVMD agent is down, engine is down. Okay, we'll wait for a few more minutes. Again, check the service one more time. It can go on. Go back to that installation screen. Okay, 83% completed. Okay, still at the start management server. Console server, HTTP port and HTTPS port for your console, and then HTTP and HTTPS port for your upload, and EM instance, and then OMS log directory, and then OMS not registered with your SLB. Right, so yeah, still the same, still the services are down. Now we can see it says web tier successfully started. I can go ahead and verify that this web tier was earlier down. Now check the same status, emctl status OMS detail. You see this time the web tier should be up and running. Admin server, okay, admin server is running, web tier is up, and then Oracle management server is up, and JVMD machine is up. That's great. Most of the services are up now. Now we can try connecting. Go back here. If not, and you can use the host name, also the IP address 10.38. Or else like you can try this /em or whatever the backslash, you can try it out. Okay, let's wait for a few more minutes. Anyway, agent configuration assistant, which is in progress now. Okay, so setting up system property looks good. Okay, the plugin come back here, run this one once again here. Okay, you can see now we're able to connect to my EM repository. If I go on advanced, come down, accept the risk and continue. And this is beautiful login page, right? Yep. You can see login with the sysman and then the password for that, whatever password you gave. Don't save. Okay, let's minimize this one. Let's come back here later. Now it'll ask you to run that root script. That's very important. Right, so now you got this one. First time you have to accept license and continue. Very first time you have to accept license and agreement and you have to continue. And then, yeah. Go back here. And then you can see you're able to connect now, advanced, and then log in now here. Yeah, 90% completed. It's almost your installation is done here. And you can go back here. Again, I'll log in with the sysman and then the password, whatever the password I given for sysman. Yeah, you can see you got the root execution script here. Right, so I'm just going to run this one. You can say open a terminal as a root user and run this one. User and app, Oracle, middleware, and all root.sh. So I have this one here. I'll just log out and I'll be drum, like I'll be root user now, U01, app, Oracle, and middleware, and then all root.sh. This is a script you have to run it as a root user. Once that all root sh is done, it will be like very small script. It will be done in 1 or 2 minutes. Right. So this is going to be your root execution, which will be like a very small script, and it's going to be like some post validation. And this is done. You can see this what it's going to do. It's going to execute this particular root.sh, and also it's going to execute this agent root.sh, both the root.sh script, one from the middleware and one from your agent directory, which is going to change the permission and then which is going to give that grant group permission for your some of the files. And then once that is done, go back to your installation screen and click OK. That concludes your installation. You can see this is a summary screen, welcome screen. These are the your EM console and admin server, and then other details. So you can save this one or you can close this one, because anyway your OEM status details will give you all the detail like your console and upload whatever details needed. It all be available. Right, to go back and then the login screen. So once you log in here, you will see all this monitoring dashboards and all this beautiful stuff. So you can do whatever, like however you want to configure all that all you can see it here. Like first you can go to your enterprise and then click on this summary, and then right now it does not have any anything is attached here, like none of the DB server, none of the uh, whatever, like your application server, nothing is configured here. You need to add the target and then you need to monitor it. So that's other thing you can check it out. Right, so I will just go back to that server GUI screen itself. I'll go back here and then I'll click on this, maximize this one. Okay, click on this enterprise and then click on your summary. I think the server will be little slow in response because because of the RAM and the CPU. I should have used more memory for the inflation. So that's one thing. And then now you can go back to your setting here, log into your Oracle, and then we'll execute those commands what we prepared. One thing is first your export your OMS home. Once you export, and then you can check this OMS details. Just now we saw that one, all the service, everything was running. And this OMS details, it will ask you for sysman password. That's mandatory one. If I do free-g, right, my server is still having free server, but I don't have enough CPUs. Right, so this is your OMS details. I'll go back here. I will, after that, I'll increase some of the CPUs and some of memory more component for this server, and we'll see the response, how fast it is. Yeah, this is agent. I can take one more session here. I can log into Oracle session here, and then I can export my agent home. And then I can check my agent status here. Right, so this is your agent status. Literally, my server is very, very, very slow. How I can take care of this after this session. And then again, your database and your listeners are all fine. You can see your agent status came here, your agent version, your OMS version, and all of those details. And you can make sure that your heartbeat status is okay. And then whatever that disk space first of all available, like everything you can see it, last attempted time and successful attempted, and then next schedule. Or you can see this all details here. And you can see that agent URL and your repository URL, all of them you can see it here associated with this agent. Right, so that's a pretty much okay. We finally got the summary page, enterprise summary. You can see the target status is 27, out of that 7 up, and unknown is 20. These are like default, whatever it found it on that server. And then at the same time, you can also verify going to summary, and then you can play around this, and then go to target, or add host, or add database, or whatever. Like you can, once you monitor it, once you deploy that agent on the target server, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever the troubleshoot, whatever the alert mechanism, you can do it. Right now it says no database found, so right now I don't have any database server configured. I can just go to add hosts, and then I don't have any host also added. It's a brand new server, we installed it here, but we don't have any target. Right, if you see your OMS status also, it says everything is up now. So that's indication of your successful installation of your EM and configuration. So in our next session, we're gonna discover few of the databases and few of the hosts, and we'll see. This is like right now on the host section, I can see only that server itself is got deployed and it is in up status. And then I will have a couple of database server. I'll install the agent, and then I'll discover it. Along with that, I'll discover the databases, and we'll see how to monitor them and how to set the alert mechanism. Until then, see you in our next session, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.